We are going to talk about linear functions. A special type of linear function is direct variation. Slope for linear functions is change of y over change in x. We put the y on top and the x on bottom with linear functions. And the equation for linear function is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, it's your rate of change, and b is where you start. Direct variation is a special type of linear function that is proportional. In 8th grade, you learned about proportional relationships, where they went through the origin, it was a straight line, and it was increasing. So the direct variation equation is y equals kx. It's similar to the other one, mx plus b. K is called your constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality. And k can be found by dividing any y divided by x. The starting value for direct variation is 0, 0. So it goes through 0, 0. The origin. Okay, so the example phrase that you're going to see is y varies directly with x, or y directly varies with x. These can be reversed. Y varies directly with x, or y directly varies with x, or is proportional to x. So you'll see all those different phrases. So what that means is k is found by doing y divided by x. And then we can use the equation y equals kx. So remember that, y over x. Okay, so we have some examples we're going to go through. So go ahead and turn the next page. Find the constant of proportionality. So constant of proportionality is your k. So go ahead and write k equals y over x. Write the linear equation and solve for the unknown value. So the linear equation is going to be y equals kx. So we're going to find what k is, then write the equation, and then find a missing value, whatever that missing value is. So we're going to start here. We have suppose y varies directly with x. So that's your key phrase. That tells us that k is going to be found by doing y over x. And then it says y is 16 when x is 8. So we've got to find the k value. So y is 16. So I'm going to put that on top. And then x is 8. So we divide 16 by 8, and we get 2. So k is 2. So write k equals 2, put a box around it. K is our constant of proportionality. So that was step 1, right? Find the constant of proportionality. This was step 1. Step 2 is write the linear equation. So here's step 2. Y equals kx. So since we already know what k is, we can write as y equals 2x. So then step 3 is solve for the unknown variable. So step 3, it says find y when x equals 16. So y equals 2 times x. Well, it tells us x is 16. So plug in x equals 16. Basically, we're plugging in 16 for x. So y equals 2 times 16. So what does y equal? 32. So I forgot to write this one over here too. So that way we have our 3 answers. 3 answers for one problem. They're all related. So we find our constant of proportionality by doing y over x. Then we write our equation. And then we plug in either x or y and find out the missing or the unknown. So it does tell us find y. Okay, let's go to number 2. Suppose y varies directly with x. Same phrase. Y equals 5 when x equals 12. Find x when y equals 6. All right, so number 1. K equals y over x. Find your constant of proportionality. It gave us y and it gave us x in the same sentence. So that's going to be 5 over 12. And we can't reduce that. So that is our k. If we could reduce it, we would. You could always put it in the calculator and have the calculator reduce it. Okay, number 2 is write your equation. Y equals kx. So y equals 5 over 12 x. That's all we got. So I'm just going to put a box around it instead of writing it again. Okay, and then step 3, find x when y equals 6. So y equals 5/12 x. Which value are we going to plug in? 6 for y. Comes from there. So it's going to be 6 equals 5 over 12 times x. So it's like we're solving a one-step equation. How do I get x by itself? How do I get rid of this 5 over 12? Divide it by 5 over 12, or remember the reciprocal, you multiply by the reciprocal. So we could multiply this by 12 over 5. If it's just a whole number, though, we would want to divide. So in our calculator, we're going to do alpha y equals, to get my fraction, 12 over 5 times 6. So x equals 72 over 5. And our calculator is going to give us our simplest form. Okay, we're going to do another example. So I'm just going to write it over here. Example 4. Okay, we're going to say y equals 24 when x equals 6. Find x when y equals 32. Y equals 24 when x equals 6. Find x when y equals 32. All right, we're going to follow those same steps. So k equals y over x. So that means it's, 24 over 6. It comes from our beginning numbers, our first sentence. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So k equals 4. Okay, number 2, write our equation. Our equation is just y equals kx. So what's our equation? Y equals 4x. Step 3. If we have y equals 4x, let's plug in what we have when we're asked to find an unknown. So it says find x when y equals 32. So that means I have 32 equals 4x. How am I going to solve that? Divide by 4. So x equals 32 divided by 4 is 8. So 24 is y, 6 is x, 32 is y when x is 8. They're all basically dealing with a proportion of 4. Okay, let's go to our last example. Number 3. The distance a truck travels varies directly with the number of hours driven. So let's underline that. Distance varies directly with hours. Distance varies directly with hours. So it's going to be like distance is our y, hours is our x. Y and x. A truck travels 268 miles in 4 hours. If the truck continues to travel at the same rate, how long will it take the truck to go 938 miles? So we're doing distance, because it's y over x, over hours. So k equals distance y, hours x. We're kind of assigning it a variable. So plug in what they've given us, 268 miles in 4 hours. So miles goes on top, 268 miles in 4 hours. So this is our k. So we go ahead and divide that. 268 divided by 4. 67. So 67 is our k. So this was number 1. Number 2 is our equation, y equals 67x. So basically, the person's going 67 miles per hour. Now it says, how long will it take to go 938 miles? Is 938 miles the y or the x? The y. So 938 is miles, which is the y. So we're going to plug that in. So 938 equals 67x. How do we solve that? Divide by 67. So 938 divided by 67. 14. So x equals 14. And we're talking about hours, right? X is hours. So 14 hours.